The Second Great Awakening was a Christian renewal movement. It swept through towns across the country such as New York, Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, and South Carolina. By the 1830s, it had swept through the South and New England. Angelina Gremke was an abolitionist and advocate of women's rights. Angelina and her older sister Sarah were daughters of a prominent South Carolina judge and plantation owner. The sisters often witnessed the suffering of slaves and were determined to speak out. They were eventually forced to move to the North, where they continued to appeal to Northerners and Southerners to work toward abolishing slavery.
Hello.
I thought you weren't in it.
Okay. Hi, I'm here with Angelina and Sarah Gremke. So,
Jasmine, you need to scroll down.
why did you decide to speak up for slavery and women's rights?
Well, we wanted to show people, white people to be exact, how cruel and poorly they were treating human beings, African Americans.
Yeah, we also had to do something about women's rights. Coming from a woman's perspective, women aren't being treated fairly. Men thought women weren't as good as men.
So, what is it like getting the ridicule and the abuse from people that didn't agree with you and what you two believed in?
We both realized that women who have to create a safe space in public arena to affect reformers.
Since the abuse from other people that didn't believe in our movement, it's just made us more stronger in what we believed in, and because we wanted more people to understand what we were going through or thinking.
Since your father was a slaveholder and trader, did you ever speak up to him to make a difference when you were younger?
We never really thought about it because we grew up that way and we didn't think much of it.
But once we got older and actually saw what was happening to the slaves, we both thought that we had to do something about it. So we did very soon after our late 20s. Well,
Yeah.
When did you start thinking about women's rights and how they weren't fair?
Oh, we started thinking about it once we started thinking about African Americans' rights, because we were wondering which slaves were getting treated poorly and how men were so better than women, what we thought it was fair.
Well, thank you for coming and answering some of these questions.
No problem. Sojourner Truth fought for women's rights and against slavery. She helped many black Union soldiers in the Civil War. Harriet Tubman was a free African American that helped other slaves escape. She led the Underground Railroad and was an abolitionist.
Hi, I'm here with Harriet Tubman, a woman of bravery, a leader, and someone who led many enslaved African Americans to freedom. So, Harriet, what was your childhood life like?
Well, I was born into slavery, and I barely got to see my family because they were always working in the fields. And I was doing housework. I got to spend more time with them in the early teens because I actually got to work in the fields with them as well.
Good. I also heard you always had a great fear that you never told anyone about because you thought they would laugh at them.
Yes, well, this may seem funny to you, but I was always afraid of my master dying because I felt that if he did leave, I would be sent to a more further down south plantation.
Why did that mean death to you?
Because down in the further south, they treated slaves more harshly. They would also make me work even harder and split up my family.
How did you manage to escape after your master died?
It was in 1849 when my master died, and they weren't planning to send slaves to the south until the next morning. So that gave me all night to plan my route.
It must have been a successful escape because you're here with us now.
Yes, it was, and I'm very thankful that the Underground Railroad was successful. That was the key to my escape. It was also where I got food and shelter to survive.
Do you think your life has affected others?
Well, of course, because all the slaves I've helped have gotten freedom. And this helps to go show what their life is like now. And I always think I changed some of minds of white women and men because it would help them realize how poorly they treat us slaves.
Frederick Douglass was an American social reformer, orator, writer, and statesman. After escaping from slavery, he became a leader of the abolitionist movement, gaining note for his dazzling oratory and incisive anti-slavery writing. The abolitionist movement attempted to achieve immediate emancipation of all slaves and the ending of racial segregation and discrimination. The Seneca Falls Convention was an early and influential women's rights convention held in Seneca Falls, New York, July 19th and 20th, 1848.